What is up, everybody? Happy Thursday. And today we're going to do a trade recap on passing three of the 50K challenge accounts from my funded futures. And today we're going to look at the 2-minute chart. And you'll notice right here, this is the one trade that passed all three of them, copy traded across all three accounts. But it all starts with what happens at the beginning of the session. So this morning, what I did was I went to the 4-hour time frame, and just let me turn off these VWAP bands. Went to the 4-hour time frame and plotted out what you could call areas of confluence, areas of support and resistance, areas of interest, whatever you want to call, but basically all of the 4-hour support zones that I feel would have some validity to them. And I mean, if you just take your entries based off the 4-hour time frame, I mean, you had an awesome long right here if you were able to get in, mainly because you're retesting the bottom of this wick. You're right at the, if you look over here, you're right at the bottom of the volume profile. I mean, that's an easy win all day. Obviously, trading in hindsight is 2020, but it's just a point. Wanted to throw that out there. But that's how I charted these levels this morning. You had the same thing up here. And then I don't believe I did anything on the 1 hour. If I did anything on the 1 hour, those lined up pretty well with the 4 hour. But this was the 1 hour resistance that I took. Trade evades being weird, but this is the 1 hour resistance that I took, anyways. But let's go to the 5 minute. We'll throw the VWAP bands back on, and you'll notice that we had an absolute insane push up this morning. And you could have shorted this, but NQ has an interesting way of just running far further than it should based on where it's located at that time and in that price. But nonetheless, that is what it is. So we were chugging up, and then this red hammer candle was the clear symbol that we should be looking to get short. And then the market opened, pushed up, rated 20,900, and then pushed itself all the way back down. But when taking entries off of the 2 minute, I like to use the 2 minute to cut out a lot of the noise with NQ, and NQ most certainly has been very noisy. And what I did was created the opening range here with the 15-minute, switched to the 5 minute, and then had the Fibonacci retracement. And look, we opened and closed right at the 50% retracement before we retested the bottom of the range, and we will likely continue to sell off, maybe if we can't hold above VWAP over here. Really interesting to see there. But okay, so how did I get into this trade? Why and everything else? So what you'll notice is we had our push down, we had our close above VWAP, but we had this clear little, I don't know what kind of doji candle. It's not really like a dragonfly doji, but you had a pretty close to a doji candle on the red here, and then we had the sell off below with the retest. So this is where everything gets interesting, and you'll notice that the volume on the MACD continues to slope downward down here as we push down. So when I see this, we're looking at these resistance zones. We already had a test of this support zone right here. So I'm just going to mark this out. We already had a test on this. I was anticipating a double bottom to retest that and actually push up. I didn't think we were going to push much lower. So that's why I did not hold this one too long. And you might see a retest right here while we're recording this. We'll see what happens. But I was expecting to come up. We had push off this. I was expecting to see a double bottom, not a push through. But as this candle closed right here, then we had this candle. I waited for this candle to push up and retest the base of this to see if we would have a finished auction to push ourselves back down, which we did. As this started to push down, here is where I got short. We pushed through it. Now, mind you, we pushed up and saw that this little support zone that I had charted out acted as resistance, and then we pushed back down, and I sold right at this VWAP band, the first standard deviation away from the VWAP. So that is where I sold, and here's where we are. Got all these closed out, cool, but pushed right back down and had us a pretty good morning. So NQ has been very interesting to trade, and if you look at the daily chart, by no means has it been fun. It's been very interesting. It kind of sucks, and if you go back to my video, I believe yesterday or the day prior, the video prior to that, clearly said we were going to be within a range, and we still kind of are. Looks like we should have, I mean, if you like to use trend lines as your, you know, strategy, you've got this and you've got this. Just want to clean this up a little bit. Something along these lines. Um, hard to say. Are we expanding upward in more of a fashion like this, just to kind of give us some expansion, or are we simply going to come out of the bottom here and then we're just going to have a descending wedge push us back down below the VWAP on the daily chart for whatever that's worth for you guys. But that is my overall market today, my recap on what I was looking at, what I saw, and ultimately what I think will happen going through the rest of the week. My bias is still somewhat bearish based on how today closes. We shall see. If today closes at or above yesterday's candle, um, or has any sort of inkling to push up, then of course that sentiment will change. We'll see. I think we might chop through the end of November and then enjoy the Santa Claus rally through December, but that remains to be seen. Regardless, guys, I want to thank you for watching. Please comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll see you in the next video.